Hello, my computer tutors. I'm a little bit better this evening than I was last time. I'm still gonna have to mute from time to time for coughing because I'm in the last hurrah of a cold or flu or something. It's not just allergies. I definitely have come down with something, but I think I've mostly recovered. But just in case, I might have to mute for much of the time. Be ready for that. I'll spare you my awful jokes anyway. I'm looking. Am I? Oh, there we go. I'm looking forward to being through with this illness because it will be. I think. I don't know how to articulate this. I'll finally not have anything respiratorily wrong with me. Because I think I've cracked the code of dust. I bought a electrostatic 20-inch by 20-inch filter. I'm supposed to be able to reuse by washing it, and I duct taped it to a box fan, and it was really done the trick. I vacuum, dust goes in the air, dust goes directly into the filter. That working together with my existing filters has removed enough crap from the air. That and my obsessive cleaning, which I had to make up for 30 years of not cleaning anything in this bedroom. I seemingly finally. I don't know what exact combination of things did it. I think it's part of it. The other half is Milline, I think, helped. I guess I'll have to stop using all the medications too to see if I really cleaned enough. I got Theraflu for the cough. Then I got Flonase, which I think helps somewhat. The good news, the big good news, is I'm no longer retching. It had gotten so bad where I was retching, double down, clutching my gut, just crud leaving my body, and that is no longer the case. It can get that bad. It can get Asmongold bad. I don't know how Asmongold breathes where he lives. Maybe some people are just not as sensitive to it. It could really just be poor hygiene plus allergies. That's a compounding factor. That's what I'm doing now, is those pitiful little coughs, because I can't do full coughs because my chest hurts too bad, because every bone in my body hurts from coughing continuously. It's better than what I was doing. It's like I'm regressing back through the symptoms before things got this bad. There were some years where I just coughed. I attributed that to the use of indoor propane for heating, which it could have been some of it too, but it also could have just been a worsening dust problem. You really got to stay on top of hygiene, not just washing yourself. I wash myself plenty, but your surroundings. I just even now with the coughing, I feel tremendously freed. Just not to be constantly retching. constant Hawk Tua. There's still some mucus, but it generally leaves my body through my nostrils now. Sorry to give all this gross. When you're sick, all you want to talk about is your sickness. So old people just talk about health problems on the cruise ship. Oh well, then my bad back, and then they took my knee, and then they swapped it out for that metal knee, and then I got a ceramic joint in my shoulder, and this, that, and the other thing. What did I find out last time? What I found out is about the 4 endings of this game. We have a choice. We can. Most of them have some kind of downside. It's not clear, good ending, bad ending. There's an ending where we are the dreamer of this world. There's an ending where we are not the dreamer, and the dreamer wakes up. I forget the other ones, but they're not all. There's not like a definitive good one and a bad one. It, I guess, depends on what you want, and some of them are harder to get than others. Sorry, I kind of lost my voice. Am I broadcasting? I am broadcasting. But at what cost? I'm doing the best I can. This is my Here's my voice now. I'm recovering. That's the good news. The good news is that this is just an illness. This is the tail end of symptoms for me. I'm within maybe a week or less of just being able to breathe normally for the first time in 6 years. That's how bad depression fucks you up. You can just put up with something that's awful that completely ruins your life for 6 years because you think you deserve it and you think that it's psychosomatic. You feel bad just because your life is bad. Recognize it if it's happening to you. I'm just going to keep cleaning and just see how much more comes out. So which of the 4 endings do we want? Do we want the one where we slay Cthulhu? Or the one where we open the door and leave? If I remember right, the one where we leave implies Cthulhu is still alive, and thus we didn't really save the world. A very Akuma Kira ending. I don't know what to do here. This liquid seems important. Don't drink that. Don't drink the Forbidden Mountain Dew. The biggest single thing that helped me was just mushrooms and LSD. I stopped using them for a long time, just because they're expensive and I could no longer reliably get them. And what they did for me is they gave me like 3 hours during which I don't have depression brain. It's not like being intoxicated, it's like being sober for the first time in many years. So I'd eat a mushroom gummy, or 3 of them, and then I'd chug a energy drink, because I needed to do that to not fall asleep anyway. And then I just get busy fucking cleaning. I didn't feel lethargic, I didn't feel unmotivated, I felt motivated. I just kept saying to myself, I don't have to live this way. A better life is possible. I don't have to live this way, a better life is possible. Like, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. So basically, in order to open this, we need to do like 4 things. We need to beat a boss fight against death using a special sword we don't have yet. We need to kill Jotun, the giant blood elephant, with a sword we don't have yet. The Jotun Slayer, it's a sword just for that one purpose. And then there's 2 other things that both involve areas we haven't seen yet. So it seems like we almost shouldn't have seen this area so early. Or maybe the point was so that we realize that we have to do something. Thank goodness for fucking mushrooms, though. Although I guess these gummies are technically not psilocybin, that's why they're legal. It metabolizes into psilocybin. It's a very good product. I show for them without being paid. I do it for free. Like 4chan Jennies. Just because it gives you the change of perspective you need to make change in your life and the motivation to do it. Because everything seems easy. We're just not as the illusion that it's impossible. You know what I mean? It's a magic temporary unfuck yourself potion. It gets rid of mental roadblocks, stopping you from making important changes. Suddenly you know just what you need to do, and you're like, shit, I only have like 3 hours to do this in before I go back to being my old self. And this becomes impossible again. Sorry about that. It goes on for a while. That's my body trying to spread viruses. They're jumping ship as they're dying, and my body becomes an inhospitable place for that particular virus. It's trying to get me to spew it onto somebody else. I hate them. They're like microscopic zombies, basically. I should do something to celebrate. I've been choking to death on dust for years and just taking it because I had the big sad. It's such a huge improvement to the quality of life not to have mucus constantly coming out of my throat. And the answer was always just to clean. To learn how to clean. The things that your parents try to teach you as a kid, you hate to do it because you're going to hate to do anything that you're forced to do. I think the right way to do it would be to have, if I had a kid, I'd just let it get bad enough to where he's sick and then point out that he's sick because he doesn't clean, and then teach him how to clean, make a game out of it, and reward him at the end. And if he tries to game the system by making a mess specifically so he can get the reward by cleaning up, I guess so be it. Please don't have the... Oh, he came back to life. Not so tough. You're scary, though. going to maximize DPS like anything else. Them viruses really do play like a fiddle, though, don't they? They pull your every little string and make your body do what it, like your body's a machine for the purpose of spreading viruses. That sword is not bad. Hello, what's this? Ew woo. Oh hey, sick. Red bones move. And I don't like that. I wish those would auto drink so you don't have to go through this song and dance. Figures I'd get sick right at the tail end of cleaning everything up. I'm really hopeful though that I'm really a few days away from just having everything be the way that it was. When I could breathe down here. I was pretty happy despite things not being. This was before Steam, so I had no money. Except for what I could get from public assistance. This was when I was going to vocational rehab and they were trying to get me jobs and I was bombing interviews left and right. I was. You know, you can be happy with having very little as long as you're healthy. But even if you have a lot more, but you're not healthy, it's much harder to be happy. Because your fucking body doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. That it directly impacts your ability to enjoy anything else. Try to imagine like going on a cruise ship and everybody starts vomiting and puking. Yeah, that's right, vomiting and puking and shitting and pissing all at the same time. Spinning around like one of those fireworks stars. Just from all the propulsive forces of all the fluids exiting their body. Then you catch what they have and you start spinning around, shitting and pissing and vomiting. How are you going to enjoy the cruise? Doesn't matter how good the cruise is. That's why they say no matter what else is wrong in your life, if you have your health, then you have at least that. Your enjoyment of anything in life is contingent upon good health. I had a hit tweet recently with both positive and negative reactions. Someone called me an edgelord and someone else called me a psychopath. It was about some sicko buying those trueborn, lifelike newborn infant dolls that look like real babies and modifying them with like fleshlights, which is a disgusting, horrible thing to do, obviously. But I thought it'd lighten the mood, and by writing, imagine filling up one of these dolls with ragu and then dropping it off of a high-rise building in front of spectators. And the reaction was not as favorable as you would hope. It was like 50-50. I think that triggers something very primal in women. But, it was better than 50-50. There was more significant, but I write stuff like that just off the cuff every day, and I normally don't get such a strong reaction to it. I still be treating X like it's 4chan. And you know what? I am an edgelord. I'm edgier than PS1 graphics. Some part of me just can't stop thinking about what it would feel like to yeet that thing like a football directly into like the windshield of a semi truck that's on. And just see it fucking explode like a piñata. And plus, afterwards, maybe you have a little bit of ragu left as a sensible low-calorie snack. I need a key for this. I don't have my phone. I don't know where my phone went. See, I'm better than last time, but I'm still not great. I'm just working, doing work. What a novel concept. Toiling to improve my own condition. I just can't say enough good things about psychedelics. It's risky and irresponsible of me to do that without also warning you, absolutely do not ever touch psychedelics if you have a history of schizophrenia in your family. In which case it is not what you want to do. It is a bad and dangerous thing. In non-schizotypal people, it provokes a change in perspective. You look at everything differently, like you're a different person living in your body who doesn't have the same mental roadblocks as you. You know how from the outside you always know how to fix somebody else's life? It's like that. It's like looking at your own life from the outside. Splendid stuff. But not if you're schizotypal. Then it just makes you more schizophrenic. You got some while the getting was good. You just haven't dipped into it right, Short Talk? You got some of the paper? Which, I mean, you may as well get some of the gummies too while the getting's good, because they have a shorter duration and it's more compatible with your life. Your schedule. Which one is the... Yep. That's the bad thing I'll say about them. The trip duration is very short, but it's also the good thing for most people. It's a bad thing because for what they cost, you know... Also, it's a little bit of a dirty trip. It's more of a body load. It affects you physiologically more than the pure stuff does. You will feel more nauseous. You will feel a little bit more off balance. But it's an upside for most people who don't, who work for a living, who don't have all day to be out of their mind. The visuals are no less potent. You get very potent visuals at a dose of 3 or higher. I'm investigating another brand that claims to have double the micrograms per gummy. I've been trying a bunch of brands. The one that disappointed me was Road Trip. Road Trip is Amanita. Amanita does fuck all. Except it gives you the body load of psychedelics, but not any of the, I guess some of the headspace, but none of the visuals. Except for like defocused vision. And everything looks wet. It was a very extreme disappointment. Shroom Fused are the ones that worked so far, and yet the other ones are like Kona IQ or something. I forget the name. I'm trying different brands. I know I should have like better advice for how to cope with the death of a parent, which is what I'm coping with, than to fucking drug yourself, but I don't know any better solution. Everything else people say to do doesn't work. Therapy only works if you love to yap and to think about yourself and to talk about yourself. Even then, I don't know about it. That's the solution of somebody who believes in like homeopathy. Or like crystals or some shit. That's not my approach to problems. My approach to problems is understand the source of the problem and attack it directly, which in this case was brain chemicals. There's a more severe version of that approach where you just take whatever substance provokes dopamine, but that's not sustainable. It doesn't really solve anything in the long run, because if you're addicted to it and it's neurodegenerative, then you ruin your life. But there are, however, some molecules that are only purely beneficial. Just goes to show one of the ways in which knowledge is power. making really crucial choices. Like, it's unthinkable to me, but there probably are people who don't know that there are significant differences between, say, fentanyl and LSD. You just were told all drugs are the same. It's 2025, and I still run into people who have to have me explain for them what a plug-in hybrid is. And when I tell them what it is and how it works, they're like, "Oh, I would have bought one of those if I knew that existed. That's a great idea. Why don't more people make those?" And I'm like, because more people don't know that they exist. Knowledge is power. You have to know something exists and the benefits of it before you can leverage it. You know it. I'm less coffee than I was last time. You'll notice. I'm still not completely over whatever. This is not allergies. I've concluded because I, the symptoms I had before were decimite allergies. I'm pretty sure, and those have cleared up. That's the good news. Those have cleared up almost completely, just from running a box fan filter and vacuuming a lot, and running my AC, which I think also has a filter in it. But as a cosmic joke, right at the end of my recovery from just being slovenly and unhygienic, I got sick with the flu or cold or what have you. And now the virus is in its last hurrah, trying to use my body as a launch pad to get to other bodies while there's still time. Not even full coughs, they're like pitiful baby coughs. Speaking of baby coughs, you ever see a baby cough? I shouldn't put them down like that. They really go for it because they're not self-conscious about how they look. Their whole body fucking coughs. Their eyes bug out of their head like a rat boggling. Their fish look like, and their lips look like fish lips. Like their mouth turns into like a cartoon character's funnel mouth. They cough like their guts are coming out. Fuck, I just lost all that progress. Guess there has to be some downside. I really hate skeledogs. Sorry, not sorry. I did buy Theraflu. Theraflu helps tremendously. It's a chemical cocktail that would have made Hitler's doctor blush. It's got acetaminophen or whatever the fuck is in aspirin is in there. It's got antihistamines. It's like 6 different things. This to treat all flu symptoms, which is just perfect. I had to prove my age to buy it. I didn't like having to do that. You know what sucks about life when you're young and pretty? You got no money, and when you're old and ugly, you do. But it should be the other way around. You should start out ugly, and then you should get beautiful when you get your money, so you can enjoy both at the same time. I guess that's so that people who are old and ugly can still have young and beautiful prostitutes. Funny how that works out. It's the circle of life. What up, Zulu? What's going on? I'm still sick, but not as sick. It turns out I just got a flu or something. It was never just allergies. It sucks, but it's also good because it means that it'll be over shortly. Exciting, exciting, exciting. Go Zulu. Stack up that paper. Sorry, anything sets me off coughing. The symptoms relating to the dust allergy are almost completely gone, which tells me I've cleaned enough. Although I think I'll probably never stop. This is from trauma. I just got to get over this cold now. I guess I'm just a big dumbass who never learns except by direct experience. I have to directly experience consequences to learn why I have to do something. That's good. You're young. This is the time in your life to push your body to make money. I remember reading the forward to a book by a billionaire about how he became a billionaire, and a part of it was just, I don't want to say ruining, but really pushing his body when he was young. Like eating the cheapest healthy food he could. Eating like a 70-cent egg for lunch. Working long hours, just with the knowledge that he won't always be able to do that. You know, when you're like 18 to early 20s, you can do things that you will not be able to do later. I just feel ashamed of myself for having to have learned such a basic lesson, and for getting so fucked up by depression that I Asmongolded myself. I'm glad I found a way out. I'm glad there is a shortcut to get out of that. These are lessons most other people learn when they're like 5 or 6, when their parents first tell them, you know, you'll get sick if you don't clean everything, if you don't wash yourself, if you don't brush your teeth. They did a good job of instilling certain habits into me. They did get me to brush my teeth. I bathe every day just because I like it. I never didn't like bathing, so those were never issues. I forgot what I was doing for a second. I was just replenishing my health so I'd go back up here. So, Hamster Flag, we're documenting my recovery from depression filth. Where after 6 years of just wallowing in dust because I never vacuumed, or I thought I was vacuuming, but because I had depression brain, I didn't check to see if the vacuum was clogged, and it was, so it wasn't picking up anything. And all that time, and I tried a carpet cleaner on a dirty carpet, which clogged that too. A comedy of errors, just because I had the big sad, and the big sad kind of makes you retarded. Makes you slow and dopey and self-destructive. So I did like the bare minimum of vacuuming with a clogged vacuum, which never cleaned anything, and dust just kept piling up, and I kept breathing the dust. At first I had COPD-like symptoms. I would just cough, dry hacking cough. Well, that's what opens that. Then it progressed to fucking retching and doing a hawk tua of mucus. Like every 5 to 10 seconds, if you can imagine living that way. And I just put up with it because I didn't know what was causing it, because of a couple things. One, because I never really learned to clean properly. Never, I mean, I lived in a household where my mom cleaned everything, so me and my dad were both kind of bums when it came to cleaning. When she died, there was nobody to clean anymore. And then the Asmon Gold brain rot kicked in, where I just started thinking, I deserve this. I deserve to live this way. I'm a gross monster. So then I ate some mushrooms, and it fixed my brain enough where I didn't have depression, brain fog. I was like, why am I living this way? I don't have to live this way. I'm not a gross monster. I just don't clean properly. So I inspected the vacuums. They were clogged in 2 places. I washed both of them out. I tested them to make sure they had suction. I vacuumed everything, filled the canister, vacuumed again, filled the second canister, vacuumed again, filled half a canister, and then I went over it and slowly filled the rest of the canister, and then after that it wouldn't fill up, but like a tenth or so. So I think I got everything. Hang on. I just gone completely slovenly and let everything deteriorate. My poor body was just struggling to survive, making mucus to get rid of all not just the dust, but the bodies of acarids, which are like mites, I think. Just dead insect bodies. Also, all the dead lice or fleas. I mean, from when my cat had fleas twice, and then I killed them all with flea collars and flea drops. They had to go somewhere. They went in the carpet. All the microplastics from years of drilling habitats. I was breathing that, and I couldn't make myself care because I figured, what's the point of improving anything? I don't. My life's not going to improve. My mother's dead. My sister's dead. Everyone's dead. I'm surrounded by death. Death has total power over me. There's no better future waiting for me. There's nothing really to live for. You could be really deep in that rut and eat some fucking fungus that grows out of cow shit, and it completely fixes you, but only for a few hours at a time. During which time I pounded a Monster Energy and I just cleaned furiously because I knew I had limited time before the brain fog set back in and made me stop caring about my well-being again. Eat the mushroom and vacuum like a madman. I vacuumed. I declogged the floor, the carpet washer. I washed the carpet. I bought an electrostatic filter, 20 inches by 20 inches by 1 inches. I duct taped it to my box fan, which works way the fuck better than a dedicated air purifier, unless you have to have ultraviolet and whatever the ionic filtering stuff. I want to say a smaller filter works on a room that's already clean to keep it clean, but it does not work well at cleaning a room. What you need is something that picks up all the dust you kick up into the air while you're vacuuming. Because it actually got worse for a while after I vacuumed, because there's so much dust in the air that wouldn't settle, especially now with AC running. But anyway, I regressed back to earlier symptoms after cleaning up all the crap that I had been breathing, beating it out of the carpet and sucking it into various filters. I need to go buy potions before I go to the arena. It had gotten to where there were fucking dusty cobwebs in the corners of the ceiling. I'm not proud of that. Everything's clean now, as clean as I can make it. I cleaned like Sonic the Hedgehog if he was a tweaker, which he probably is. So don't be like me. Don't be like me. Don't ever let things get so bad that you have to reach this point where you just have to do like decades worth of chores that didn't get done all in the span of a week. I'm sure you don't need to be told that. Apparently I did. I could cry. I'm so happy that when I'm finally not sick anymore, I'll be able to breathe normally, and I won't. I'll never take that for granted again. I'm gonna keep up my diet. I'm gonna keep up exercise. Man, fucking psychedelics are so good for you in so many ways. What's actually good for me is the stuff I'm doing, but I'm doing it because I ate something that changed my brain and made me understand how I needed to live. It's very much like a nagging mother, because like put on your sweater before you go outside or you get cold. You're like, yes, mother. But because it loves you. I remember talking to a very Bible-oriented fellow who was convinced that psychedelics let demons inside. And I was like, if that's true, these are some really wholesome demons. If that's true, these demons have done more for me than any other holy being ever has. Boy, let me tell you, if that's what Satan wants, for me to get fit and healthy, I can't argue against that. So sweaty. It's cold in here. feel woozy. Has it been 6 hours? Can I take cough medicine again? I mean, I'm gonna keep eating mushrooms and see what happens. Maybe I'll finally fucking finish putting that chain on my bike. Maybe I'll put in enough applications to agents and I'll get an agent. It's fucking magic. It's good for what ails you. It's the closest thing to real magic in the world besides love. What are these lads? They have their own armor, so they're presumably sentient. I feel hot. Hang on. What else can I do to improve my situation? I look at getting a job again. I replaced all 4 tires on my car and 1 wheel. I wash everything again. I do like 4 loads of laundry. In the right mood, doing constructive things feels good. It doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like like you're treating yourself, which is how it should feel. Because you are being good to yourself when you do that. Fiddlehead, please try to make your fantasy plans sound more serious. Come on. Oh, is Sir Garrett here? When do I return this hammer to him? Is chat not updating? No, it is updating. I'm glad to get healthy in time for summer. I just wish I'd done this sooner. I wish I'd been more aware. Part of the problem is my brain experiences possibility paralysis when trying to diagnose an issue, because it could technically be one of any thousands of causes. A healthy person would just will zero in on the most likely cause of something and then just operate under that assumption and move forward and try things one by one. I get stuck feeling overwhelmed by all the possible things that it could be. It's like decision paralysis. In fact, that's what it is. I just named it differently. As you can see, when I'm coughing, I can't keep the fucking cursor still, which prevents me from ever being able to click on anything. Mana drain. Oh, it's not fair. Oh, it's because it's a cursed hammer. Seems to be inherently cursed. Oh, I see what you did there, Gloomwood. You're not even attacking me. I feel bad about that. It's not power on me. I'm trying to go to the source. Uh-oh. Controller no longer works. No, it's not accepting any inputs. There it is. Never mind. Now it works. That's gonna be Sir Garrett, isn't it? He's gonna be the big bad. It's amazing how much work goes into just being healthy and fit. When you're a kid, it seems to be automatic. Your body just takes care of itself. But as you get older, it's a full-time job. It's just you go to the gym 3 times a week. You count calories. Clean everything. I know I'm bitching about things everybody else just knows to do. I don't bemoan it either, really. I'm glad. Just wish I'd learned this lesson sooner. Oh, they like the scar. I didn't see Doodle. So these things used to be human, apparently. Not sure how that figures into lore yet. That soundtrack. It sounds like what frogs listen to. You hear what I hear? Fucking kidding me? Death Star laser plant? Oh, that's Kino. I'm gonna have to, since this doesn't attack me, I'm gonna pay some price for killing the trees, aren't I? That's gonna, like, bar me from one of the endings. Well, it's good strategy. I was just talking about how after years of depression-fueled not cleaning anything, I finally got sick enough from breathing in dust and dead acarids and other tiny insects and hair and whatnot that I just ate a bunch of psychedelic gummies and pounded an energy drink, and that completely... I don't know if I can talk about that, actually, because you're in Singapore. I don't want the government to knock on your door. But anyways, it got me to clean everything And I mean everything. And got me to vacuum, got me to fix the vacuum, so I was actually properly picking stuff up, which it wasn't before. That's how badly depression can fuck up your brain. I vacuumed and washed the carpet just in time to get the flu, which is what was wrong with me last time. It wasn't just more allergies. It was in fact an illness, which seems to be waning now. But the virus is still trying to jump ship to the next host, so it's got me coughing. After this is through, though, I'll be healthy. I'll be able to breathe properly. I'm gonna call this my Asmund Gold Arc. Oh, it's apparently a common symptom if you look at the subreddit of depression nests, or just like what Chris Chan's house was like. That's what it took for me to get off my ass and fucking clean everything and learn how to clean effectively. I had to discover ancient knowledge that human beings have had for tens of thousands of years. Which is that if you don't clean everything in your surroundings, you get sick. That's something they don't do as a kid. When you're a kid, your parents tell you what to do, but not why. They don't give you like a chart that says if this, then this. If not this, then this. There's no or else. There's just because I said so. I guess that is kind of an or else. You know what I mean? They don't give you practical reasons for things. They just teach you authority-based thinking. So I cleaned, most of my symptoms cleared up. I'm no longer retching. I'm no longer hawk-tuing. Mucus is down to like 10% or 5% of what it was. It's just like a slightly runny nose now. I'm sneezing sometimes. The coughing is entirely due to the flu. And I can handle that just with a cough syrup. I wouldn't give up. If a kid asks why, then go all the way back to the Big Bang. Go back to the first principles. So yeah. I'm mostly just amazed looking back and wondering what was wrong with me, although I know the answer. That I let things fester for as long as I did. For like half of those 6 years, I just had COPD-like symptoms. Just coughing, and then I had overproduction of mucus and postnasal drip. My dad used to give me lie answers on purpose because he wanted to frustrate me into not relying on other people for information and not relying on being spoon-fed, but to research myself. He would give me stupid, fucked up answers that I knew were false. Like Calvin's dad. Like the wind is trees sneezing, or that little men are inside every machine that make it work. Oh. I never found that out. My dad's a really smart guy, but he's kind of eccentric and ridiculous in certain ways. But he has me now to look after him and make sure. I'm pretty sure he's autistic too. It helps to be a little dumb for your Riz, honestly. Overthinking things is not sexy. It's probably the least sexy thing. What am I looking for? Oh, here we go. Here I am, technically in my 40s, just now learning to live. It's a hell of a thing. I got only myself to blame. Now all I can think of is what else can I do to make improvements in my life. One of the things was the mushrooms kept telling me, hit the gym. Hit the gym, fat ass. Hit the gym, you lazy piggy. And also, it was much gentler than that. But it was adamant, hit the gym. And also eat healthier. Eat smaller portions and eat healthier foods. If you just eat a mushroom and then do what it tells you. I do despair sometimes, thinking I'll never be young again. I'll never enjoy being like 20. Like, that's a one-way trip. And then again, who knows what's going to happen with life extension, except for that I won't be able to afford it. It's still a foolish hope to hold on to. You're right, the 40 isn't so bad. You can actually stay fit if you exercise a lot. I never partied because of sensory issues, and no one ever invited me to parties because of autism. I spent my 20s playing Quake 2 and Quake 3 online in Unreal Tournament. And also making maps for the 3D games. I somehow managed to get a girlfriend anyway. Can you believe that? How did that happen? I think I had 2 girlfriends in my 20s. One of them was right at 18. And it's a funny reason because my stupid fucking ass thought that I would go to prison if I had sex before I turned 18. I wasn't really clear on that. Then again, you don't really want to be the sort of person who knows all the details about age of consent laws. That's like that one libertarian in every party. See, I didn't miss out on young love. I always comfort myself by thinking that. I got the experience of having a college girlfriend. There were 2 girls who liked me in middle school, but I was retarded and cowardly. I second guessed myself so much, I never made a move on either of them, and one of them hated me for it and cried, and all the other girls said I was a bastard. I didn't understand I didn't know what I did wrong. You could do nothing and still be the one in the wrong, because sometimes nothing is the wrong thing to do. They all blamed me for like her delicate emotional state, which I was in no way equipped to be in charge of. You know what I mean? I couldn't really even handle my own emotional state at that age. Girls at that age expect way more emotional maturity and intelligence than is realistic. Missed opportunity, I guess. I do lament that. I could have had a cute little romance. And they were both, I think, smoking at the time by that standard. One of them was a Latina. I used to flirt with her and I gave her a Valentine, but I didn't. I understand that autism is in part a developmental delay of emotional maturity. So I've always been about 10 years behind my peers in emotional maturity. So when I was in middle school, I was basically like a toddler in terms of my ability to foment and understand romance. I was at a poker tournament and I brought Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Girls expect way more emotional intelligence from boys at that age than is realistic. They really want little adults in the same way your parents kind of do, until they accept that that's not how humans work. How do I open this? Do I cast a spell? That was the thing. I went to a fundamentalist Christian middle school, so they didn't want us to be horny, which we were. We had what they didn't want. They wanted us to be like romantic and write them poetry and shit, which I can do now. They wanted stuff that you were absolutely not going to get from middle school boys. And I guess, to be fair, we also wanted more boob than was realistic at that age. By like 3 or 4 times. And that's also probably a less mature thing to want from a partner. I had someone fucking throw themselves at me and I still didn't fucking understand what they were doing. In college, there's this girl in the dorm next door who we all kind of hung out over there. And there was this one giga slut, and I don't use that term lightly. I like to think of myself as a woman respecter, but she would literally just walk around meeting all the guys in the dorms on the first day and sleeping with whoever said yes. This is a real thing that happened. She, I guess, came from like a Mormon background or some shit, because just judging by her clothes that she brought with her to college and some of her jewelry, some kind of conservative religious background. And like the microsecond she got to college, the first thing that she did on the first day of moving into her dorm was basically go from door to door in the dorms, and if a man answered, she would just try to fuck him. And if he said yes, then she would fuck him, and if he said no, she would move on to the next door. So she fucked, I think, one of my roommates, and then she started making her googly eyes at me, and I said, no, go away. And I'm proud of myself for having that restraint. I was at the age where I could afford to. Her eyes look like I hurt her, though, and I don't feel... She probably... I mean, in fairness, she probably came from a background where she was shamed for her sexuality. So to go to some place that was so libertine, and then to be shamed for her sexuality anyway, probably was a bad, hollowed out feeling. I just didn't want whatever the fuck she got from all the other Also, I don't like being picked last for dodgeball, so to speak. I was not first on the list. I would have been getting... It's like that supermodel who did the 100-man orgy and being the guy who went last. Using other dudes' cum as lube. So anyway, she wasn't the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor was again a Latina. I kind of have a history with Latinas, or they tend to find me, and they seem to like me. And I would hang out with her, and we would watch horror movies and play GameCube. And eventually, she just got she would wear Daisy Dukes, which I recognize in retrospect. She was trying to attract me, but she never actually used her words like a human being to say, "Hey, I want to have sex with you." She never said that, so I never assumed that she did. And so one night she wore like this slutty dress, and she was like, "Listen, if you don't stop me, I'm gonna go to this party tonight, this guy's throwing, and I'm gonna fuck someone. Are you fine with that?" And I'm like, "Why are you telling me this?" And she went, "Ugh!" And she just kind of stormed out of the room. And I'm just standing there with my fucking 12-year-old delayed brain, thinking, what the fuck is her problem? And she likes me. She also told me she had a boyfriend in prison, which I don't know if that was even true or if that's something that she thought would entice me. I'd like find exciting, because I would feel like I was getting away with something, like cucking some dude. Just a miscalculation on all parts. I really think allistic women cannot come within 10% of fucking understanding what motivates autistic men, which is mostly gunpla and anime and trains and submarines and laserdisc and vintage 8 and 16-bit computers, such as the Sharp X68000. Or the FM Towns Marty. That was me. I'm sorry. What could she mean by this? I did the same thing. There needs to be a class in middle school or high school for girls to say, "Woe unto you if you love an autistic man, but here's what you do if that happens. Here's what you need to do for him to understand." They're the timid sex by comparison, and it's asking a lot of them to be the bolder one when they're socialized to let men make the first move, and that's absolutely not what any autistic man will ever do. I really have big regrets. I could have had... It's not to miss out on sex. I had plenty of sex in Florida. I had most sex in my life in Florida. Some which I regret now. I learned a lesson. Sex is about quality, not quantity. The opposite of what I just said. You want good sex, not lots of it. So I'm not too busted up over that, but it would have been more about the romance. I missed out on adorable young teen love, like from a American comedy, or from one of my Japanese animes. It's just like my Japanese animes. Good, because they have to. We need more comedy movies to teach girls how to diagnose autism in men and what they need to do. Which is basically just grab us like you would grab a rat. Have you seen those memes where someone just grabs a rat and picks him up with his legs dangling? Like me when I get you. You gotta just fucking grab us. And be, "Me want snoo snoo." You give me snoo snoo now, small funny man. I also regret being this way. I know the uplifting thing is to say that there's no such thing as disabilities or defects. And I never used to feel that I was disabled or defected until I read about and learned autism, so I could recognize the symptoms in myself. And then I couldn't unsee it. It's like learning for the first time that you can't turn left. And before that, you never wanted to turn left. You didn't know what left was. You know what I mean? So you didn't suffer from it because it was a blind spot in your brain. Once you learn about your shortcomings, you can't stop noticing them, and it becomes a splinter in your hindbrain that you can't get rid of. And really, the more I'm able to understand myself from the perspective of an holistic person and how they must see us, the more I seem to myself as some sort of abominable creature that has all of man's technical faculties but is lacking in those which make us human and not machines. It's a cold, rigid, awful. There's a difference between your nature and how you have to be, though. You can have a nature that is abominable, but if you recognize it, you can also work against it, because we're not robots. We are conscious beings. We have volition and autonomy. We can arbitrarily decide to try to form new pathways in our brain. We can just decide to want to be a certain way and to work towards building those habits. I don't know what that's from, Short Talk. It does kind of feel like that. What I compare it to is like the Sword in the Stone. Anyone ever seen the Sword in the Stone where Arthur turns into a squirrel? And then he lives a whole condensed life as a squirrel within a couple minutes because animation is expensive on a per minute basis. Like he runs up in a tree and then a lady squirrel falls in love with him and tries to fuck him, putting the squirrel moves on him with her bushy tail. She knows what she's doing. But then he's not into it because he only looks like a squirrel. She's mistaken him for something that he's not on the inside. She can't fathom what he is on the inside. He's something completely alien to her experience. You never saw that? There's a sequence where Merlin turns Arthur into a squirrel, and a girl squirrel tries to seduce him. He gets all hung up on him. This is real. Well, I mean, it's an animated movie. The comparison I'm drawing is that she's mistaken him for being a squirrel because he looks like a squirrel, but his brain is totally alien and different. Strider, if I'm disappointed in you, you of all people should know the power move is to side with the gorilla against the other men. To ride around on his shoulders to add your brain's hits brawn. I can find the episode or the timestamp. I'm gonna show you. I'm not making this up. So Merlin's a wizard. Everybody knows that. He turns Arthur into a squirrel. And the first thing that happens is the lady squirrel decides that she wants his dick. Arthur doesn't know what to fuck. Because he's a human. And he can't communicate to her that he's something different.
Merlin, how will we get by?
Oh, well, I suppose we better go back to a sidetrack.
Go on. You've got lots of room.
I guess she can't be sidetracked. That's a girl squirrel lad and a redhead at that.
She sure acts funny.
She likes you.
Why?
Yes, well, that's nature again. But I'm afraid there's no time to explain. Yeah, now you better leave me out of it.
Yeah, me too. Marlon! Marlon!
You're on your own, lad. I'm afraid magic can't solve this problem.
Look, I'm not a boy. I mean, I'm not a squirrel. I'm a boy. A human boy, not a real Oh, leave me alone. Merlin, what'll I do? She won't leave me alone. Oh!
Well, I'm afraid you're stuck, lad. When a girl squirrel chooses a mate, it's for life.
But I won't be a squirrel tomorrow.
She doesn't know that. She only knows one simple fact, that you're a him and she's a her. It's a natural phenomenon.
Phenomenon? No?
Well, it's it's a state of being, frame of mind. It's a most befuddling thing. And to every being of every kind, it is discombobulating. You're wasting time resisting. You'll find the more you do, the more she'll keep insisting. Her him has got to be you.
Now leave me alone. I mean it.
It's a rough game, anyone knows.
Go away.
There are no rules. Anything goes. There's no logical explanation for this discombobulation. It's a most befuddling thing. Would you? Now go on. Shoo! In a tree of your own. Skedaddle.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years...
Cool ad, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Catch AIDS. Anyways.
Snick, snack, snore.
So Merlin turns him back into a boy, and the girl squirrel.
There, now you see? I'm not a squirrel. I'm a boy. I tried to tell you. I'm a boy. A human boy. Oh, if you could only understand.
You know, lad, that love business is a powerful thing.
Greater than gravity?
She'll go on to tweet that all men are
Yes,
awful.
boy, in its way, I'd say it's the greatest force on earth.
I don't think she ever got an arc where, I think she saves him or something at one point. But I forget if that's when he's a squirrel or when he's as the boy. I don't remember her getting like an arc where they take the sad ending and turn it into a happy one, which they usually do in children's movies, so they don't just leave things sad. Kids remember that stuff. That was the first time in my life I saw something. Before I was diagnosed, I saw something that I intuitively understood. I'm like, that's me. That's what's happening. Is it mandatory like everything else in Singapore? When you're old enough, you earn the right to be that way. Because what can anyone threaten you with? Death? How do I get up there? Oh, the wind dash. I finally get to use that for something. Ew! Ow, my brain. I dare not jump down there. There's something down here, thank God. What the fuck was that? Oh, fuck. Where am I? How did this happen? How did this happen? Oh. What? This is a different secret door than before. I intuit that was the point of that dungeon, to get the talisman. I also intuit there will be another dungeon on the opposite side. It'll be symmetrical. I want to be healthy so bad. It really sucks to be sick. I really respect people who make their medical profession, their profession being doctors or nurses, out of empathy with the ill. It diminishes all aspects of enjoyment of life. It's a really great thing to use your talents towards. Oh, there we go. No, I don't think I will. Is that me? Want your hammer back? Oh, I didn't save, did I? After the, oh, it's a cutscene ending. Demi! Oh, my crow friend. I didn't think I was gonna make it. Yay, my buddies! That was le epic, my gamers. Glad I didn't have to get it down to 0 health. I was on the ropes there. Just goes to show, don't quit prematurely when you don't know where the finish line is. Go away through. I'd rather save if you let me. Do I need to do all the endings though? We'll be streaming this for years if I do all the endings. I think I could probably be content watching the other endings on YouTube. I think if I recall, this is also the best ending. If you escape but you don't wake the sleeper, then it implies something sinister. Do I need to find back here? There's no time. This is the true ending. The world goes back to being a good place. The fog is gone. I think magic is also gone. Magic was powered by Lunacid, which came from the creature.
When a dreamer awakens, what happens to the inhabitants of the dream, or the world that was traveled, or the pain that was felt? The experience will linger sometimes, and the dreamer will remember. Some aspects of the dream will travel the veil and live with the dreamer in the waking world. There are no credits here, because this isn't the end. Newest of the fallen, take up your sword and fight.
Liar, here's the credits. Wait, never mind. Do I get to keep the sword? I get to keep the sword. Finally, an actual good sword. Let me go and see if I finish the map. So I don't have to save scum to see different endings. That's cool. I appreciate that. Well, I can two-shot these things now. This sword rules. But does it illuminate? There's a bunch of other swords I don't have yet that you need specific swords to kill specific enemies. There's still, is this missing? There's still a missing area. I have not found everything yet. Boy, am I lucky. I'm a lucky bastard that I managed to kill the boss on my first try, because I didn't hit the save crystal after coming out of the water temple thing, whatever that was. Had I died, I would have had to go through that part again. Yes, I want to see a cool thing. You always have a place here. Aww. Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Have I ever told you the story about how the cursed knight was defeated by the warrior Hemdad? Hey, that's me! I'm in the story now. A brave soul named Hemdad ventured deep into the forbidden depths of the Great Well and eventually came across the cursed knight Sarius. With the help of some friends, he was able to shatter several of the curses of the night, keeping him immortal. Rather than waking up and bringing them into this place, the kind Hemdad allowed to sleep for a while longer. Came back to visit with their friends, and the rumors that they're still exploring the Great Well. Oh, that's a neat little touch. This game has soul. Can anyone say this game doesn't have soul? I defy them. This is the soulful game. It's not a Souls-like. Let's not go crazy here. Let's see what the Dusty Orb is. Perhaps at a later time the dust may fall and reveal something. It has no current use. There's a couple of things like this. There's like skeleton eggs that you have to hatch in a nest. But it takes a real time 1 month to hatch. Hang on. Bros, I feel like I'm on an upward spiral. I feel like now I know for sure that my problems are solvable, and I have leads on solving all of them. They don't seem insurmountable anymore. As long as I know what to do, it doesn't seem so hopeless. How do I get to this one? Let's search the newest area. I want to kill the Jotun. I got no good reason to. I'm not beefing with it. Whoa, what the fuck? It's also a projectile weapon. Baller! Oh, but it takes magic. You know what I would kill for is a ring that regenerates magic. Didn't go well. Not as strong as I think I am. Also, did you notice you never get armor in this game? Armor is just not a gameplay mechanic that is in Lunacid. I'm not sure for what reason it was omitted. I guess streamlining. I'm going to level up and I'm going to look around for other exits. See if I may have overlooked something. How are there plants? There's no sunlight. How can plants exist? It's like the geofront in Evangelion. Doesn't make a lot of sense. That's sick as hell, though. I would live in a geofront. Little bottle world. That's one thing I love about Evangelion is the audacity of it. The idea that it's not exactly what happens, but it's like God sends angels to end the world, and humanity's like, no, we have giant robots. Change of plans. You can't get us in our underground dome. We're going to capture your angels and then drill their brains out and install cockpits so humans can pilot them. I liked it a lot until humanity got turned into Fanta. It was kind of a demoralizing ending where all of our defiance was pointless in the end. All we did was delay. I had a very, very similar conversation with one of my teachers at Christian school based on the Doom games. I said, during the tribulation, when demons come to Earth, won't humanity have futuristic weapons like plasma guns by that time? Won't we be able to fight them? And he's like, no. And I'm like, why? He's like, we just won't. I'm like, why? Will the demons also have advanced weapons? No. Will they be invincible? Will they be not flesh and blood? No, they'll be flesh and blood. Well, why won't plasma guns kill demons? What he wouldn't say is just that the story requires it. It's for narrative expedience. Interesting, the projectile is actually not that good. The correct answer was that yes, some demons will be cybernetic. Honestly, the Vatican should pay id Software to develop Doom games and keep it keep it consistent with church doctrine, because a lot of the Doom storyline is heretical. Rule of cool, baby. Also, those implants are probably energy hungry. That made me suspicious, because it was like, it told me a couple things. That he hadn't really thought through the implications of his own beliefs, and that the authors of the Bible hadn't thought, actually did not have foreknowledge of the future, otherwise they would have addressed that. A lot of things that make it very obvious that the Bible authors didn't have foreknowledge that they claim to. There are some people, interpretations that claim that locusts really refers to helicopters and shit like that. And that it describes a nuclear war. That could have worked. During the Cold War, a lot of people interpreted Revelations that way. If you were in that fold, that could have been pretty convincing. Hal Lindsey was one of those people. I wish he was still alive so I could ask him to explain why the world didn't end. Because he wrote a bunch of books that were very, very sure that that was how the world was going to end. There's a story with that as a plot point. Where a hiker stumbles across a survival fallout shelter in the wilderness, on the site where someone's cabin used to be. And inside the cabin is all this rapture literature about how the rapture is going to happen in 1988. Oh, that's a trap. And the spooky part happens when it turns out that the guy is not dead and that the shelter is still in use. The main character doesn't know that until he returns. It's spookier the way that it's delivered in the story. How do I feel about this game, having technically beaten it? I like it. It's got more going on than I think the actual Kingsfield games did until Dark Tower. It still felt a little sparse. It needed one or two more mechanics. I would have liked some puzzles, for example. I think we could do without platforming, but puzzles would have been a nice addition. Maybe some armor. Just not enough going on. I think having a map that you piece together by picking up paper fragments would have helped with navigation and progression. Just feels a little bit sparse. Imagine going from this back to playing Kingsfield 1 on the PS1. Or imagine just playing that at all, even at launch. I don't see in it what other people do. I appreciate the traps. The traps are something. If anything, more of that. More environmental stuff. Puzzles, traps. Maybe a little light platforming. I like that your friends team up to save you at the end. That's heartwarming. I love heartwarming shit like that. I write heartwarming shit like that. Like I was just going over the ending of Blue Light Chronicles today, and I cried again, like a wee little baby, like a little bitch baby. That's how I know an ending is really good. And I try not to write something if I don't have a great ending planned. I did Terminal Sunset without an ending plan because I was so seduced by the premise, and the ending is kind of weak in that one. I like endings that make you cry, basically, like the Little Robots ending. Blue Light Chronicles is a tearjerker at the end, and I'm proud of that. That's how I know it has power. It's also one of my few uplifting stories with a happy ending. Bet Armor, cool song name for a game with no armor in it. I also wonder what a playthrough would have been like had I not been Alucard here. Had I, for example, instead played... it apparently does make a difference. If you're undead, certain spells that involve dying and coming back to life to regenerate don't work. And if you're... It's small stuff here and there. Like the vampires can drink blood wine. There's no sunlight anywhere in the game, though, so there's no penalty for being a vampire. There should be. There should be downsides to everything. I remember playing Oblivion as a vampire and thinking it was pretty cool. Dark Brotherhood vampire because I wanted to be max edgy. How do I get to the missing area? I don't know where my phone is. I'm hungry too. I haven't been eating. When I'm sick, I don't eat well. That makes me nauseous. Also, when you eat a lot of LSD or mushrooms, it makes you feel sickened at the idea of eating processed food. It makes total fucking sense to me now why Steve Jobs died the way that he did. Because that guy must have been eating like horse feed bags full of shrooms near end of life because he only wanted to eat fruit. He wanted to cure cancer with an all fruit diet. Yeah, me too. That's what it should be. They only updated the graphics. Anyway, something about these molecules in fungi and ergo from which lysergamide such and such molecule is derived really makes you insufferably, I don't know what the word is, like a hippie. Hippies don't just happen. They're a product of a particular neurochemistry. And you only understand it after you try it. And you're like, oh, I see why people turn out that way. They go whole hog. They give their lives over to that experience. And they do whatever it tells them. It makes you really want to wear earth tones and natural fibers. It makes you want to have like a walking staff that's made of like driftwood. Makes you interested in stupid nonsense like patchouli and incense. Makes you want to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. This thing is almost too powerful. Problem is I don't have any way to illuminate while I'm walking unless I go back to Ghost Light, I guess. Stone knives and bear skins. It's like there's if I was like a Grug the caveman, I would say there's a hippie spirit that lives inside of the mushroom that possesses people who eat it. Makes them into hippies. It's mostly constructive advice though that it gives you. It's stuff that you know deep down would be good for you anyway, but you don't do because nobody can make you. You know where I bet it is? You know where I bet it is? I bet it's in the ending cavern. We were supposed to go in there and then poke around like I was going to do originally. But just keep exploring. And we would have found another door. I feel you though. Probably my favorite part of the Oblivion was the utterly inhuman things people would sometimes do, just like spinning, making sudden pain sounds, and like rushing into a crushing trap directly after they saw someone get crushed by it. I need that. Oh, cool. It changes the arena. Now we just gotta look around. See if I missed anything. So that's what he sacrificed everything for, including his humanity, was just to be the strongest. What's the point of being strongest if you live in a perpetual... if you live here? If your whole existence is just guarding the chamber of an elder deity that's sleeping. He's a sleepy boy. He's eepy. And you just wait here and fight people. I did see that short video where somebody gets robbed by a Khajiit bandit and then pickpockets them. Like 2 seconds later. The Khajiit's like, fine, take it. Guess when you get owned that badly, that's all you can take. All I can say. Yeah, I bet it's back here somewhere. I probably should have looked the first time. I had a nagging feeling that they wouldn't make the chamber so large if there was nothing in here to find. But I really wanted to see that ending. Is Gamebryo what Oblivion was on? No way. I haven't heard that name in a long time. I thought they had their own proprietary engine. Is that what that was? That would have to mean that they deliberately replicated all the bugs. That's dedication. Todd Howard has earned the money he wants to make from selling 600,000 different editions. There's at least going to be like a VR version. A Neuralink version. What if we go around the edge? Instead of going straight to the sleeper. Hey, there's this whole other hallway I never saw before. What a surreal feeling that would be to be looking at a creature or object in your environment that you happen to know all of reality is contingent upon. It's like that Soma trailer where the guy looks at his own brain, which is inside of like an external enclosure, remotely controlling his body, and that if he damages it, that he dies. But in this case, it's all reality. It's dependent upon the thing staying asleep. Somewhere in this maze, I just know it, there's going to be another door. It's narratively correct. They go all the way around. No, this is the same corridor. I remember Gamebryo from being like an early version of Unity kind of thing that people would make shitty games on. The shitty games that suck ass. Sorry if ever I talk your ear off about psychedelics. I had a roommate who was the same way with Buddhism. People find something that really helps them and then they become passionate about it. It's really funny. She was like, stop telling me to try LSD. And I'm like, well, stop telling me to try meditation. And she's like, all right, well, clearly neither one of us is going to persuade the other. So we had to just declare a moratorium on preaching to each other. She claimed to have done mushrooms before, but I doubt that it was a proper dose. It also doesn't affect everyone the same way. It's quite possible that she was one of the unlucky few for whom it has the threshold for noticeable effects is much higher. There's got to be something here. I don't accept that there's nothing here. I do try to be responsible. I warn people who are schizotypal away from it. But damn, it's something where if you haven't tried it and you're not schizotypal, you have to try it once in your life, at least. There's nothing else like it. It's one of the closest things to real magic that is actually real and achievable. How do I get up there? Is there like a double jump spell? I'm gonna come to learn that there's a double jump spell, or there's like a flight. I don't accept that there's nothing in here. Why are these rocks shaped like houses? Have you noticed that? These are all shaped like buildings. This looks very much like a town. I made it. I made it. I made it up here. To what end? There'll be it. A breakpoint has been reached. Uh-oh. Well, it doesn't seem to have had any consequences. Except that I fell down. It's really creepy these are shaped like houses, though. What does it mean? Can I kill the dreamer? If I just shoot it, does it wake up? Apparently not. It do be reppin' though. Look at that one. This is 100% a town. What's the lore? Why is there a stone? Why is there a petrified town? I would if I could, you son of a bitch. Don't you think I would Borg up if that was even reasonably possible? I mean, I have an implant. It just doesn't do much. I was an early adopter. Fool that I am. What is the point of this? Do the textures change if you do something different? Is it just to make you wonder? It's gotta mean something. It's a game. It was made by a person. I'm feeling much better than I was last time. Amazing how much health improves all other aspects of life and fitness. You can't really enjoy life without a healthy body. Tell that to some of the people I've seen at Disney World, though. I guess if you just don't move a lot, I mean, as long as you're clean, you can escape most consequences. Not forever, though. Where did I even come into here through? So we've established, I don't think this is where the door would be. Then again, I haven't checked all the different buildings. This is driving me crazy. This is 100,000% a stone town. There's gonna be some way in the game where I can turn this back into a town. There's 2 swords I don't have that I need. I could try to kill Jotun, but I think Jotun requires a dedicated special sword. At least we saw one of the endings tonight. You know what I really want to stream after this, if nobody has any objections? Metal Wolf Chaos. I keep looking at that and wanting to stream it, but I never get around to it. I remember thinking it was a really fun game. It's not a long game. I played the original on Xbox in like 2006. Well, that was a bust. Not the fun kind of bust either. I really thought that would lead somewhere. If not that, then what? Oh, look at that. It's got a emblem with 2 it's this one and one other. I need the other talisman. You know what I think is gonna happen? I think when I combine the 2 talismans, the ending area will change. The texturing will change, and that'll become a town, and I'll be able to access another area. Question becomes, where do I find the other talisman? Probably will have to look up a guide. I'm just glad I'm feeling better. I haven't coughed in a while. I'm really hoping that it's all out of my system. Neither have I retched up mucus, which I'm sorry if you didn't like hearing about that. It's all I could think about while it was happening, and it was an embarrassing, gross problem to have, which completely stopped me from making connections to other people. Which once I clean up more, maybe I can think about doing that again. I dared not date anyone, which for some of the best years of my life in my 30s. Between like 30, 35 and age 35 and present. I just felt too gross. It's unfathomable. What is the what is the missing area on this map? How do I get there? I need the other talisman, don't I? Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet the dusty crystal ball given to me by Demi is like for dummies. If you can't find the other talisman, then eventually it becomes clear and shows you where it is. I'll bet anything that's what it is. Here I go coughing again. I spoke too soon. It's not as bad, and I go longer and longer without, though. I can one-shot the phantoms, and I can probably just about one-shot vampires. These used to be like mini-bosses to me. One-shotted, really? The sword of one-shotting vampires. How is that possible? Those are ludicrously good stats. I think that's better than the cruelty hammer. It's good because the hammer seems to be permanently cursed. The sword of one-shotting vampires is unmitigated, unprecedented Kino. Let's go try it on Jotun. I know what's going to happen, but I want to see it anyway. What GPU are you on right now, Strategif? What GPU? What video card? I was looking at a discussion of the 5070 and 5080 today. Yeah, currently. I was remarking that, frankly, unless you want to do 4K or RTX, you honestly don't. You don't need much newer than a 1080. Maybe that's underselling it. I have not run into anything that I wanted to run but couldn't. Then again, I also don't play many new games. I play stuff that looks like this. That's what I hear. Basically everything in my current rig was donated. Short Talk donated the CPU and motherboard and I think the RAM. I supplied the SSDs, and I forget who gave me my GPU. Some kind soul bought me a 2080 Super. Where the fuck are you, Blood Elephant? I do feel I've reached a point of diminishing returns where unless you invent new costly rendering techniques like RTX, there's not an argument to be had for upgrading. Come here, little cat. Get up in my lap or you don't get pets. Lap is where petting happens. That's right, you're just spending money left and right lately, Short Talk. You're like my dad. And again, I feel like it's because he feels like he's on the way out. So he should spend every last cent he has to his name, because that's what boomers do. Before I got my 980, I had a 780 that I liked. That was a rude awakening when I discovered VR would not work with it. Actually bought a headset and then I found out that it wouldn't work with it. It's only because the game developer I was writing for the time, at that time, had a deal with NVIDIA to supply them with cards for development purposes. They had them lying around and just sent me one. There you are, you son of a bitch. I guess now's the time to get them before tariffs make them expensive. No, he is truly unkillable without a specific sword. And we're gonna have to come back to this. There's 2 swords I don't have. They're both specific to a boss. One of them is the sword that kills death. The other is the sword that kills Jotun. I guess what ending are we trying for now? I think the door ending. Where you although one questions what the point is of escaping this prison when the sleeping creature still persists. Because the fog persists, and if the fog persists, so does the monsters. You know, the heart wants what it wants. I want the door ending. Well, you earned it. You've been living very responsibly, and you've been working a lucrative job, keeping your head down. That's a goal from the start of the game, was to be able to one-shot those. I can one-shot a lot of things now. Die for no reason, sucker, that I don't even know. You've not wronged me, but you're about to get BTFO'd. Yeah, kind of a gay e-bike, but at least it folds. Also, an e-bike is an e-bike. It's like pizza. Even mediocre pizza is still pizza. There's still one area in the game I have not seen. I can't let that go. What if that's what's beyond the door? I also have half of a talisman with no idea where the other half is. Oh, there it is, the Jotun Slayer. There's a fucking gun? Now I have something to save up for. I gotta see what the gun is like. Sorry. It's a gun. I can't really aim it well. $84 damage is not shabby at all. Let's try out our new toys. Let's do some grinding for money and levels, and then we'll buy the Jotun Slayer. Probably won't get it tonight. There's not enough time. We need a lot of money for that. This is now an FPS, though, technically. Oh, the gun sucks. Does not seem to hit anything. Oh, there we go. It also doesn't cause burning damage. Does the other one do that? I think it does. Jill's candle causes less damage, but... What's that up there? Which one do I have? So this side is supposedly the side with the white talisman. There, see? Which means we must have missed it. Almost caught for the rhythm. These things are tough. How are you that tough against an end game weapon? Ooh, 25 coins so far. It's gonna take me a while. Yeah, this is a better ranged weapon. Well, that does nothing. There's absolutely nothing. This track slaps. It'd be funny if that beam was one shot, but you have to be careless enough to be in front of it. I got something here, but what was it? Where's Talisman? I already had it. How do I combine them? I already had both talismans. Is there some way to put them together? Or do I just have to have the most in my inventory? So I already had it this entire time. I'm a big dummy. I don't know why I never thought to think of that. Check it. Fact checkers. Jamie, bring that up for me. I read some disturbing stuff about autism possibly being caused by mold in the air, mold spores. To think that the bad habits in this household could have been why I lived the life that I lived. Wouldn't it be funny if the decrease in the asbestos correlated somehow with an increase in mold? Like mold couldn't grow with asbestos or some shit, and then we got rid of the asbestos and it improved or decreased the incidence of lung cancer, whatever that caused, and it increased autism instead. Oh, is that any good? No, it's not. Can it be upgraded though? No. Yeah, right. Without realizing it, I did that earlier. Sup, Sky Moo? I'm coming off of a flu. So if I cough a bit, that's what it's about. This is very tail end, so I don't cough all the time, which I did last time. It was a hard stream to get through. I'm feeling much better now. Thank you, that's sweet. The other half of it, the reason I didn't immediately recognize it as flu is because I already had symptoms of just awful, awful respiratory symptoms from not cleaning properly for many years, and I finally got the wherewithal to understand how vacuum cleaners work so I could unclog them at both ends, and then it finally picked up. It wasn't picking anything up. So I went whole hog mode. I went turbo ham cleaning. I cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. Allergies suck, man. They suck terribly. I think mine was just acarids and dust allergies, which is apparently pretty common. And ever since I vacuumed and vacuumed and vacuumed and just kept emptying out canisters and emptying out canisters and emptying out canisters until it wouldn't pick anything up anymore, and then washed the carpet, and then installed a electrostatic furnace fan, filter on a box fan to make a mega air purifier at Short Talk's recommendation, which works way the fuck better than the dedicated air purifier I have, which is supposed to be high tech. It's got all these smart features built into it that don't actually help it at the one thing I need it to do, which is filter the air. It gives you like a numerical readout of how used the filter is. It tells you particulate counts in the air. I don't need that. I need you to filter the air. Got a lot of allergy people on this channel. Us poor sniffly boys. It's made me like, it's given me trauma motivation to just clean relentlessly. Because I apparently only learned the importance of practices after suffering the consequences of not doing them. Well, it really works. It really works. My postnasal drip is basically gone now, which I never imagined was possible. When you're depressed, you don't think a better life is possible. You think things are all crappy for a reason. It really has you living like an animal and thinking that that's normal. It'll fuck you up. Two of the greatest poisons of the human mind are depression and insecurity. Insecurity will make you do absolutely insane things that will fuck you up worse than you were when you started. You ever see those women who destroy their faces with plastic surgery? Because like every time they had a surgery, they didn't quite like the outcome. The narcissists are actually very insecure people. That's a misunderstanding of what they're like and why they're like that. They're actually very fragile. Elliot Rodger is a great example. He was a handsome dude. He had all the advantages in life. But he let insecurity psych him out. It's the greatest debuff in the meta. I think we're just about done for tonight. Do I have a crystal shard? I do. I don't want to waste it though. Not where I thought it was. So we now have two goals. One is open the door to Tartarus, and the other is save up enough moolah for the Jotun Slayer sword and find out what happens when we slay that giant blood elephant. And it better be good. It's 350 smackaroonies. There'd better be a big payoff. Actually, I guess I could just use a spell. Oh. What the fresh hell was that? Let me save first. Can't seem to find... Oh, wait. Look who it is. Regular Smasher. That's thanks, Ham Dad. I should remember this in favor. But for now, low violence. Oh, isn't that chronologically incorrect? Didn't I just see you fight the last boss and get killed? This is a continuity error. I guess because the developer assumed you would have done this by now. Would that have changed how the final battle unfolded? Would he have survived? Oh, that's going to be crushing if that's the case. I'm going to have to play the whole thing again, start to finish, if that's the case. Which, as much as I like this game, I really don't want to do that. This was somewhat of a grind. I'll do some reading of the guide before next time and figure out a couple things. I'll figure out how to get the sword that I need to beat death with, which may have just been solved actually. I'll find out what exactly I have to do to open the door to Tartarus, which I think I looked up before, but I can't remember. I wonder what I get for that. And also, I wonder if there's a way to trigger the last boss fight again, now that he has his hammer. Would that have saved his life? Would that have given a happier ending? I wonder. Save. I think you have a home in the game. This little cozy place. Because otherwise you'd feel stressed all the time. Because no place is your home. Yeah, that's all for this evening. I still want at least one other ending, which is what we're going to do next time. Stick around for the raid. Short talk, hit it any time. I'll do the outro. Thank you all for joining me. Get at me again on Monday. Same hand channel at 7 o'clock p.m. West Coast time, 11 o'clock p.m. this year, or 10:30, well, more often these days. This is your friendly neighborhood hand signing up for turning you to your regularly scheduled raid. Short talk, hit it. Let her rip. Beyblades, let it rip.